Hello again, everyone. This is the Almighty Bob, and you're watching Creature Shock. I'm going to go grab a quick soda while you watch the introduction.
It is the year 2123, and the massive overpopulation of the Earth has forced the human race to investigate the colonization of the other planets. To this end, the tribal class survey ships were constructed and each dispatched with its own mission to find mankind a new home. The Myrmidon to Mars, the Aztec to Venus, and the Amazon to the moons of Jupiter and Saturn.
Captain, please come to the bridge.
I'll be there in a moment, Alex.
To tell you a little of the history of Creature Shock, this game was published in 1994 by Virgin Interactive and written by Argonaut Software. The graphics of the game were considered well ahead of their time. This was one of the first games that used this sort of rendered 3D computer-generated images, as opposed to the regular pixelated crap you saw in most stock games.
Good morning, Captain. We are approaching the Carboniferous asteroid we detected yesterday. I would like to attempt a flypast to scan it more closely. Course alteration locked in. Scan commencing now.
Okay, Alex, what have we got?
Spectral data indicates a variety of compounds. Carbon dioxide, water, ammonia. Relevant data is on screen, ready for access. I am also picking up sulfates, amino acids, and proteins.
Alex, those are organics. Have you scanned for any form of life?
No point, Captain. The asteroid is obviously alive.
Are you sure?
Certain. Should I attempt evasive action? Activating emergency procedures.
Jesus, Alex, talk to me.
Warning. Drive system overload. Detonation imminent. Captain, please commence manual shutdown of drive systems. Launching automatic distress beacon. Beacon launched. Initiating lifeboat pre-launch sequence. Warning, you have 10 seconds to reach safety. Lifeboat launch in 10, 9, 7, 6, 5. Countdown interrupted. Hull and engine core reached. Main drive will detonate in 4, 3, 2, 1.
So there you have it, artificial stupidity at its finest. If the Amazon is the best hope for humanity finding a new home, then we're all screwed. So let me officially welcome you to this Let's Play of Creature Shock. This game spans 2 CDs, but you can actually play through the entire thing in about an hour. Our base of operations on the moon looks like something out of UFO robot Grandizer. Unfortunately, there's no General Bellicose to send UFO robots out to destroy the Earth. It's too bad because it would make the game a lot more interesting. Here we meet our nameless hero, who must have had a very traumatic childhood, because he always has this look of surprise on his face no matter what's going on around him. And our commander for this operation is none other than Jean-Luc Picard in a black latex suit. The idea would be humorous if it wasn't so scary.
We picked up a distress beacon from the survey ship Amazon.
Even the military can't escape pop-up ads.
You are being sent to assess the situation. The last location transmission showed the ship to be in the vicinity of Saturn. Their next survey point would have been Titan.
You have to wonder if whoever designed the ship had any deeply rooted insecurities about his own masculinity.
We've assigned you one of the new FTL scout ships, a Lynx Phase 4. We'd like it back in one piece.
Because ships are expensive, soldiers not nearly so.
Prep and launch from Base 7 in 20 minutes.
Make it 40. I walk really slow. So this here is the first of 2 flying scenes in Creature Shock. If you're going to want to know what it's like to fly a spaceship using only your left foot, after drinking a couple of pints of Jack, well, congratulations, your wish just got granted. The controls in the flying scene are very counterintuitive. You're flying around the ship using your mouse, but up is down and down is up like you would normally expect with a joystick. Not only that, there's no crosshair, so you really can't tell where exactly it is you're shooting at. It's kind of just get the shot somewhere in the vicinity of the enemy ship and hope that it hits. You'll notice in the lower right-hand corner of the screen your shield gauge. Unless you're going to keep your eyes closed throughout the entire scene, you're really not going to have to worry about running out of shields. You pretty much have to die on purpose to fail this scene. Now you could probably make it through all the way to the very end of the stage without hitting the fire button once, just because there's not a whole lot of things that are going to fire back at you, so for the most part it's just making sure you don't run into mines, asteroids, or anything else that's out there. Now, Creature Shock is one of those games that was great in concept, but bad in execution. This is a game that was universally panned by almost every critic that's out there. In fact, Home of the Underdogs calls it the worst game that was ever produced for the PC. Once you get past all the pretty graphics, Creature Shock degenerates to what really is just a bland, mediocre rail shooter. Even on the hardest difficulty level, the only people who are going to find this game to be challenging are chimpanzees and 6-year-olds who are hopped up on too many candy bars. Anyone who has the least bit amount of experience with video games, even in something as basic as Pong for the Atari 2600, is not going to have any sort of a problem finishing this game in one go. Creature Shock is primarily a 3DO and PC game. Ports later coming for systems like the PlayStation and the CDI. These flying scenes are only a part of the CDI and PC versions. Everyone else just got all the regular rail shooter scenes in them. Oh, and I almost forgot. This game was mouse only. If you tried using a keyboard, you were fresh out of luck. Unless you're really paying attention, it's hard to tell how close you are to the end of the level. You'll notice off in the distance you'll see the outline of the asteroid that captured the Amazon. You pretty much gotta wait till that gets pretty big before you realize you're almost at the end. I was probably one of 15 people who actually bought the production copy of the game. Now this was back in my college days when I was buying any sort of video game that looked cool. Guess that's what happens when you have parents that are willing to bankroll your video game addiction. There's not much to a point of trying to shoot down everything you possibly can. There's no score being kept and no high-score tables, so it's really more just saying to yourself, hey, I shot down all these ships and you didn't, so haha. Now I'd like to comment for just a moment on the opening cutscene. You think that once the military finds out what happened to the Amazon and how stupidly the AI acted, they find the person that programmed that system and they jizz them off into the sun. I mean, talk about having a dick computer controlling your entire spaceship. I mean, the ship decides on its own that it's going to fly directly at some unknown object that it's come across in space. And as soon as it senses danger, it's going to sit there and ask, hey, do you want me to get you out of this situation? It's probably spending too much time scanning the commander's giant rack to realize that it better kick on the afterburners and get the hell out of there. I suppose it's a good thing that back in 1994 they hadn't perfected jiggle physics yet, otherwise that computer would have blown a circuit somewhere back around Mars. And from personal experience, I can tell you that encountering the second rotating blue enemy tells us we're pretty much at the end of the stage. Here we are at the boss of the stage. And the enemy is going to spawn the green fighters from the end of its wingtips, and it's going to drop pairs of the satellite lasers from right underneath the wings. The weak spot on the enemy are the two white dots that are shooting out lasers at you. You can blow up the lasers in mid-flight, so it's mostly just a matter of lining up with it vertically, and then swinging back and forth and bombarding it as much as you can. Again, as long as you're not intentionally trying to get yourself killed, this boss is going to be pretty easy to defeat.
Control? Can you see this?
Analysis confirms that thing is organic. It's alive, Commander.
Any suggested action, Control?
Make a close sweep and scan for survivors.
Okay, Control. I'm going in.
Yeah, you know, after flying all the way out here, I might as well do the job I was sent here to do.
I'm going to look for a landing site.
I actually prefer that you set the ship on autopilot back home and jump out while it's still moving, you know, since the ship is more valuable to us than you are. It's amazing that this far in the future we perfected hypersleep and warp drives, but yet we still have laser pistols that are the size of our torsos. This is the first type of battle scene you'll find in the rail shooter sections. This is more of an arcade scene than a rail shooter scene. Basically, it's just shoot everything dead and try not to get killed yourself. The one interesting thing to note about these scenes is that as long as the enemy shots are off-screen, they can't hurt you at all. Kind of like fighting the bug bladder in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, only a little bit more effective. Our little satellite buddy there acts as our cursor to tell the game where it is that we want to go, and when spinning randomly it just means there's nothing for us to click on. And welcome to the rail shooting scene. This guy is the exact same as the aliens that you found outside the door. Doesn't matter which one of the three passages you go down, you're always going to meet this guy right off the bat. Getting through the rail shooter scene is incredibly easy. Each monster has a little weak point, which you can tell because you'll see the little arrows pop up around the cursor. By holding down the right mouse button, you're going to activate your shield, which will let you deflect any attack that's being sent your way. Of course, your shield only has limited power, so you can't keep it up all the time. Most of the monsters follow the same attack pattern. They'll attack you 2 or 3 times, and then they'll sit there and make menacing faces for a little while showing off their weak spot. So if this is your first time playing through the game, the best thing to do is just keep your shield up when it's attacking, and watch the parries to see when its weak spot reveals itself. I'm just toying with this guy here to make him feel like he's doing a good job, so after all, it's one punching down. The game does have random encounters that it throws at you between the scripted encounters. In the alien ship you have this worm that crawls along the ground, or you got a bat that's going flying through the air. Going through these enemies is incredibly simple. It's just aim for the head and shoot them 3 times. You'll find a couple of these pods scattered throughout every level. The red balls inside will either increase the power of your gun by 50% or they'll heal you back up to maximum. Though to be honest, you're really not going to need the heal balls unless you're planning on going through every single arcade shooter section in this game. They're the only ones that present any sort of a challenge. In the lower right hand corner of the screen you'll see our little HUD. The swirling DNA tells us how close we are to a scripted encounter. It'll also cycle through our current gun energy as well as our health. In any battle scene, the DNA shows you the health of the current enemy. Here's our first encounter with the bat. It's much more annoying than the worm because it has a much smaller hitbox, it moves really fast, and your head bobbing back and forth doesn't make aiming very easy. It's very boring wandering between all the scripted encounters, and I'm going to be showing each and every one of them off. So I'm going to speed the thing up to warp speed when we're walking between the different rooms. Oh look, he wants to give you a hug. How nice. On a scale of 1 to 10, the difficulty of this enemy rate's about a 2. The only time he should ever let a hit on you is if you get up in the middle of the fight and run out to grab another beer. And another alien squid goes off to the great sushi bar in the sky. Seeing the green water here should tell you exactly what's coming up. Yes, it's another one of our favorite mutant squids, only this one is easier than the last one. Even though this guy takes about 8 hits to destroy, you can kill him before he even finishes with his entry animation if you're fast enough on the mouse button. Again, I just feel sorry for this guy, and I want him to feel like he's doing a good job guarding this room. The only monster that goes down faster is the alien at the very beginning of the stage. We can knock him down before he even gets up off the ground. Even though this room is out of your way, there's one very important reason why you want to come up here. And no, it's not because I want to show off the alien dog to you. This guy is cute, but incredibly pathetic. His attacks are very weak and he only takes a couple of hits to knock down. The only thing that's difficult about the dog is the fact that you have to shoot him in the eyes, and the hitboxes for them are incredibly small. Well, at least he has the common sense to run away before we blast him into next week. And with both gun power-ups, our gun's power now is at 225%, which means the rest of this level is going to be pretty much a sleepwalk. Hey Fido, let's show me your new trick. Play dead! Oh come on, where are you going? You're no fun. I want a new dog. And if things weren't boring enough as they were, now we have another arcade scene. This particular arcade scene is only slightly harder than the first one, kind of in the same way that walking fast is slightly harder than walking slow. The mosquitoes are the bigger threat here just because they attack you physically. The spiders, all you just have to do is look away or throw a towel over your head, and they're of absolutely no use. All in all, on a scale of 1 to 10, I rate this battle as a sucks big time. And now for our reward, another armor pickup. Oh hey Fido, that's where you ran off to. Sorry, don't have any doggy treats for you today. Scram. Now it's time to say hello to our good friend, Mr. Mumbles. You may remember him because we stepped on a couple of his brethren back in the last arcade scene. The one interesting thing to know about Mr. Mumbles is the fact that you can only face him going one way down the corridor. If you're traveling from the east, you're not going to run into him. It's only when you come from the west that you see the encounter meter start to rise. All in all, it's a very slow-paced fight against a very boring enemy who really can't do much to hurt you. All in all, I gotta believe that they put Mr. Mumbles in here just to say, hey, you've been playing at this for 15 minutes, it's time to take a rest break. Oh, look out! Mr. Mumbles' big brother is out for revenge! This fight's just a little bit harder, the fact that Mr. Mumbles' older brother isn't going to stand around and attack you. If you don't kill him off within about 20 seconds, he devours your whole, and it's the end of the game right there. Much like his kid brother, you can only face him going one way down the corridor. Coming from north to south, you're not going to run into him at all. Time for another arcade scene. As you can see, the rest of the Mumbles family showed up, only this time they're carrying heavy artillery with them. It doesn't really make much of a difference, they're just as easy to kill off as the last group that we faced. Here we are with the one-way tube to hell.
Wow.
This part here can be a little bit tricky. It's going to split up into a fork just a little bit ahead. If you go down the right path, you're going to end up getting devoured whole by a worm, so you have to take the left path. It's the only way to get through to the next part of the game. This little part here is completely optional, but it's still nice for just a little bit of stress over the course of playing this game. And here comes Mr. Chuckles, probably the most annoying character in the entire level. What makes Chuckles so annoying is the fact that his weak point is the spot on his butt where the lasers come out of. Now, I guess if your evil scientists can't make sharks with lasers on their heads, having a spider with a laser shooting him out of its butt is probably the next best thing. Still, as annoying as he still follows the same pattern as all the other enemies. He'll just attack a couple of times, then he'll wave his tail around plenty enough so that you can go and shoot him. On the ground, Chuckles is only slightly less annoying, kind of like taking a little rock out of your shoe, but leaving in the 12 broken shards of glass. All things being equal, Chuckles is only tough if you try to rush through the entire fight. If you just take your time, this thing is a cakewalk. On a scale of 1 to 10, I rate Chuckles as Jim Carrey in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. And what do you know, the first enemy that doesn't vaporize instantly upon death. I guess not everybody had a chance to learn from Obi-Wan Kenobi the way to properly die. Over here, we have the little beastie that auditioned for Hungry Hungry Hippos, but didn't get the job from Hasbro. Just like the older Mr. Mumbles, you gotta kill him quick, otherwise he eats you whole and it's game over. And now for real this time, we pick up a power-up that's going to restore our armor back to 100%. It's really only necessary if you intend to go through every arcade scene in the level. Oh, look who's back for another visit. It's our good friend Chuckles. It's worth noting that these blue spiders are the most dominant form of life on this living asteroid. We're going to run into these guys quite a bit around here. It's also worth noting that each battle scene has its own individual death scene programmed to it, so it's not just a generic game over sort of thing. You actually do get to see an interesting death sometimes. Most of the time it's just the monster chomping on your head. But I will have to say that the last Mr. Chuckles has probably my favorite death scene in the entire game. There, you watch as Chuckles drags you up to the ceiling, where there's a whole bunch of blue spiders waiting to feed on your corpse. If you want to check them out, another YouTuber was nice enough to compile them all into one big montage video. Me, I'll be perfectly happy once we're done with this battle scene. And coming up here is probably my least favorite scene in the entire level. Oh, it looks like the entire Chuckles clan is out looking for revenge. These guys are incredibly annoying, and not just because they take a lot of hits to destroy. mostly because they fire off their shots in 3-round bursts, so even if you have maximum gun power for the level, this fight can take a lot off of your health. That's why it's important to get all the power-ups possible before even attempting this scene. Of course, another thing to note is that this particular scene right here is entirely optional. You're not going to run into it unless you go out of your way to enter it. Oh well, you know me, the things I'll do to please my fans. This part here can be really tricky for a first-timer. If you don't turn around right away and instead try to go forward, the Chuckles jumps on you and drags you off to your death. Don't get a single chance to fight back. As it is, if you know what you're doing, then you can kill this guy before he even gets a chance to attack you the first time. I kind of feel a little bad for killing off all his brethren, so I'm just going to drag this out for a few more minutes. And not really. Let's put him out of his misery. And by entering the nicest room in the entire place, it can only mean one thing. It's boss time. Well, I can't say I didn't see that one coming. I mean, this has only been, what, a staple of almost every video game that's ever been programmed? Well, at least there's no jiggle physics to hypnotize us in this fight. Nope, time to face his true form. It's the big ugly monster from the front of the Creature Shock box. What makes this monster tougher than all the others is the fact that your hits do so little damage to him compared to everybody else. So I guess it's time to whip out the old smart bombs and make this a quick fight. Yeah, you see those 3 little red squares on the HUD? You get 3 smart bombs per level. The smart bomb, when triggered, will rapidly attack any exposed weak point, usually doing enough damage to kill off a regular monster, but still does a decent chunk of damage against the bosses. Then again, unless both your hands were replaced by rabid raccoons, you're not going to need the smart bombs at any point except for the boss fights. Now, Big Ugly here has probably the second best death scene in the entire game, in my opinion. When he strikes the killing blow, you see him wag his finger at you, and then he chops your head off. I don't know, I kind of just find it a little bit entertaining to watch. Yeah, I was deliberately holding off just to watch him throw a right cross. So sue me. And down goes Frazier. It was a good fight, but let's be honest, he never really stood any sort of a chance against me. Well, now it's time to do what we get paid the big bucks to do, and that's rescue the girl and get back to the ship. Fortunately, our good buddy Jump Cut makes an entrance in here, and we don't have to fight our way all the way back to the ship. So of course, what's the only thing to do with a strange alien life form after you come back from a far-off asteroid filled with God knows what? No, it's not take him to quarantine, it's bring him down to the goddamn meeting room. And I'm not even going to check in for a debriefing, no, I'm going to lie down here and take a goddamn nap. Folks, your tax dollars at work. Well, it's good to see that General Spit and Polish hasn't changed his uniform at all since we last saw him. He's been spending the entire time in the meeting room watching that same scene from the escape beacon over and over again. I bet you if we go to his home we find a whole library of snuff tapes just sitting on the counter. Talk to the hand. Yes, I know, it's a cheap laugh. I had to throw it in there. And there you have it, folks, part 1 of Creature Shock. Join me next time when we find out the answers to life, the universe, and everything that exists. Or maybe just see how much crappier this game can possibly get. I'll see you then.
Never forget who is the boss of you. Me! I am the boss of you! I am the boss of you! I am the boss of you!